I had to learn. I think I already knew, but I learned by myself that I had some self-esteem issues.
Right.
I really did,
Right.
and the self-esteem issues affected my confidence.
Mm-hmm.
It affected how I reacted to situations,
Mm-hmm.
reacted to women, and conflict.
Mm-hmm.
All that shit played a part in how my relationships did not work.
Right.
And here we go. You're listening to the Kings Can Move On podcast with your hosts, Jason Stewart and Frank Grant. Hey, welcome to the Kings Can Move On podcast. It's your boy Jay. I'm in the house, aka Wood. And if you can see us, we got a special guest tonight. Our normal co-host is not here. Frank the Tank is out. So I brought in my boy Caro, aka Hen. What's up, Hen?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing? This is Caro, aka Hen. Thank you, Jay, for bringing me on to the Kings Can Move On podcast.
Thank you
Yo,
for coming in on short notice. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you.
man, it is what it is. Always down.
Yeah. So again, it's the Kings Can Move On podcast. We don't have any guests tonight, so it's gonna be just me and you chopping it up.
There it
Talk
is.
about whatever we want to talk about.
There it
So,
is.
before we got on this live, we was talking about a lot of stuff. We're talking about our boy who was like trying to get another job right now. He's hoping he's hoping to land a new job,
Yes.
even though he hates corporate America. And I don't know if I should say that on this, but he'll say it himself. Trust me, he would tell you he hates corporate America.
They'll be like,
But
yes, Mr. Frank, we saw some podcast about. And he's like, oh shit.
uh, you know what? F all this. Blah blah. I call him demilitant because he's like anti everything, anti establishment, anti government. But right now he's work some things out. We're hoping to get this job, and and work it out. But you and I, we both in the corporate world, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And I listen to so many podcasts nowadays, and a
Right.
lot of them are geared toward entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
entrepreneurism,
Yeah.
and sometimes you hear the folks talking down on workers, right? They're like,
Right.
you don't own your own, you ain't, if you ain't your own boss, blah 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 blah. If you ain't freedom. And I'm like, that's cool for some,
Yeah.
not for all though. You
Yeah.
know, if you had no workers, you wouldn't have a company.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
so entrepreneurism is not for everybody.
No.
Me myself, I like having a steady job.
Yeah.
I like having that steady check.
Yeah.
I also like having other hustles. So
Yeah.
I'm about multiple revenue streams.
Multiple revenue streams. Right.
Yeah, I'm about hustles and adding revenue streams, but I'm just not. I don't have it in me that mindset to just have no job, have this one grind that it all falls on me. If I don't do anything, I have nothing. I just
Right.
don't have that in me, you
Right.
know. So I listen. I look for little things I could do on the side,
Hmm.
but I'm not an entrepreneur. I know I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And I don't think it's anything wrong with that. I think because we talked about it, I think we were texting back and forth about that. I think
yeah.
I'm the same way. I'm a manager. I'm a leader,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not necessarily an entrepreneur. I can get with an entrepreneur and help you run your business really well.
Yeah.
But as far as being the actual owner, I don't have aspirations for that. But
Yeah.
it's cool.
I mean,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
it's
saying?
cool, and I support those that do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's also, like I said, a place for you. Like, say you're an entrepreneur, you're an idea guy, you have a
Hmm.
business, you're starting it. I
Hmm.
can come in and add to that. You
Right.
know, I'm
Right.
in IT. I could add certain element and a role to your business and
Mm-hmm.
help you grow it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want to be the guy.
Right. Right.
I don't want to have it all fall on my shoulders. You know?
Right. Right.
So, like I said, I'm about to hustle. I'm all about supporting entrepreneurs, especially black ones.
Yep.
Black businesses support
Yep.
that.
Yep.
But I'm a corporate dude.
Yep.
I've been there for a long time. You know, that's my grind. You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
I try to learn what I can from my job. Take trainings, like you said, attend conferences.
Mhm.
Try to better myself. But I'm a corporate dude.
Yep.
I ain't ashamed about it. So
Yep. No, shit has been able to take care of us for a long time, right? So I think that's,
yeah,
I think that's the most important thing. It's like, yeah, like you said, a lot of entrepreneurs do look down on people that work in the corporate world or thrive in the corporate world.
mm-hmm.
I've always kind of felt like, if the number one thing that I love to do is help, right? And we talked about that a little bit in earlier podcasts, but I kind of find out I'm a pleaser and I like to help people. And so, um, as a businessman or as an entrepreneur, sometimes you have to make decisions that don't necessarily help people. It really kind of helps the business, and you kind of make decisions on that. So,
Right.
being under the umbrella of a corporation, you're able to help people within that umbrella and not have to worry about. Now, of course, you have to hit goals and things like that to make the company keep going, right? But it's not all on you. You can more focus on people, and
Right.
yeah, that's one thing that I love. I love to help people. You know.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I think the term that's used a lot is servant leadership, right?
Yep. Yep.
You
That's it.
you serve others, but you're also a leader.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just you against the world. It's you leading and helping and serving to make sure others are able to thrive and
Right.
succeed, so that the whole is
Right.
okay. So I think servant leadership is a very important characteristic as well.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It definitely is. Like I said, you just and I had great mentors because I was on a path in corporate America, not doing very well. I was an angry black man, and you don't like me because of this. You don't, and one of the guys just kind of pulled me to the side. I was able to get a mentorship by the CEO of our previous company.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what? He said it starts with you, and the things that you can do, and you have to stop putting roadblocks in front of yourself. You have to perform, and if you perform, then it don't matter what they think about you. It really don't. And I tell my team, any of my team members, they know that it's if you perform in this environment, it don't matter if you're yellow, black, white, brown, purple. It don't matter what you are.
Yeah.
If you perform it, then that's what they look at, because when you're inside of a business, that's what you're supposed to do. And I
It's
think a
all
lot,
numbers. Yeah.
yeah, and people get it twisted. It's like, oh well, they get in their feelings about stuff, and it's not. This is business. You have to perform, and so I've always, not always, but I've started since I got that mentorship to lead by performance, and then even manage by performance, and let them know what it is early. So because it sucks, and I tell my team all the time, it sucks if you come into your review and it's like a surprise. You should know
Yeah.
what your review is before you get it. If your review is a surprise, that's my bad. I
Right.
did something wrong.
Yeah.
But you should know, because I should be coaching you, pushing you, training you all the way through, and holding you accountable for your job at all times. So if I'm not doing that, then that's my problem. But yeah, I think,
And
like I said, it's a mindset.
it is, and I think it's important for our young people to have that going in, thinking,
Oh
listen.
my goodness, yes. Oh my goodness, yes, Lord. What the
And
hell?
so you're a manager,
Yeah.
so you deal with people, I'm sure of all ages. So let's jump that way.
Oh,
Let's jump into
education types.
managing young people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What are some of the things you see with these young people coming into the corporate world?
Well, I think that a lot of times that we see behaviors that have been kind of fostered since they were little at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they don't have a lot of work experience. A lot of times, what I try to do is especially for younger people that don't have a lot of job experience, I ask them, "Hey, did you play sports in school? Were you a part of a team? Did you have to do something like that?" And just kind of try to see what kind of person they are.
Okay.
Um, and do they work well with teams? Have they been under pressure? How do they take pressure? What do they do outside of work and those kind of things, and ask a litany of questions
Yeah.
on on how they respond under performance guidelines or under pressure to
Mm-hmm.
perform.
Yeah.
So those are the biggest things that we talk about, and I try to play that up heavy, especially in interviews, because it's like, if you can't take pressure, this is not the job for you.
If you're enjoying this podcast, don't forget to subscribe and like us on YouTube and rate and follow us on your favorite podcast platform. Mm-hmm.
Not because it's super. I mean, we're not doing surgery. I mean, it's not like life or death, but the amount of pressure that I'm gonna apply to you is going to be hard, and so it's probably going to be some of the hardest things. You're going to get some direct feedback. Um, I'm not one to mince words. Anybody that works for me know I don't mince words. I'm fun, have a good time, but like I said, we're here to perform. And if you're not performing, then I'm going to tell you about it. And so if you come from an environment where mommy and daddy always told you you the best, and you the best,
Yeah.
then they get into your environment and they think like, wait a minute, why did this dude doesn't like me? And it's like, no, I just want you to perform.
Yeah.
Um, and so if I can inspire them, then a lot of times, like most of my people that work for me, and I can say this, and I'm not bullshitting, they've been promoted. I promoted them out of my office
Mm-hmm.
because they're now able to handle more and do more.
Yeah.
And so that's always good as a manager when you promote different people. You see different people that we used to work for you, now they're managers. Um, and so that's kind of like the tree. It's like once you kind of give these young people the things that they need, then they can kind of move on. And I just say, you know what, the only thing that you owe me is that you do it for somebody else. Because that's the biggest thing. It's like you have to uh, each one teach one, right?
Yeah. Right.
Um, I think that's the biggest thing with young people is they think about themselves only,
Mm-hmm.
and so they don't really understand the aspects of uh, good teamwork, being a good teammate. That's the things that we kind of coach,
Yeah.
and because they have a hard time doing it, because they used to, like I said, they used to getting stuff to them given to them, or they, like I said, mommy and daddy told them you the best, and it's like, no, you didn't, you're not the best. You rode the bench the whole time. You're not the best.
You was like seventh, eighth, ninth man. You didn't even you saw garbage time, partner. You had uniform. That's about it. But you know what you say about managing. Some I haven't managed people,
uh,
but I have been in a position where I had to interview people. You know,
mm-hmm,
for roles and jobs.
mm-hmm,
And you know, my thing has always been about I'm looking at your character, your personality, your way you, like I said, if you're a team member, you get along with team more so than your skills.
right.
And
Yep,
I
yep.
listened to a podcast with Gary V,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, all those basic interview questions you ask or you can ask is BS
Yeah,
because his focus is I want to interview you on your personality, your character, you
yeah,
know, can you get along, can you fit in? Because skills can be taught.
yeah.
The other stuff can't be.
No.
You either have it or you don't. You either are a good teammate,
Yep,
work well with others,
yep.
and thrive under pressure, or you can't.
Mm-hmm.
Skills, I can train you, you can learn them,
Yep,
but the other shit is more important.
yeah,
You know, way more important than how many certs do you have?
yeah,
Your experience about working with computers. How many computers can you manage? No. What happens when you have this manager on your ass about something? How do you respond to that?
yeah, yep,
Are you gonna break down? Are you gonna respond the wrong way?
yep.
Take it in stride and just keep going. That's what's important for young folks. Like you said, young folks, unfortunately, they some of them have a sense of entitlement.
Right. And that's that. Yeah, that's what I was trying to explain. Yep, persistent entitlement.
They
That's what it
do.
is. Yep.
And adversity, it
Not the
messes them up. It
No,
messes them up.
they struggle. They really
They
struggle.
do. If
Yeah,
it don't go right, it's like, oh, what the hell? Like, bruh, that's life.
yeah, yeah,
That's all about life. You got to be able to take adversity, deal with it,
yeah,
pivot, maneuver,
yeah,
overcome, and deal because
yeah.
it ain't not gonna be perfect at anything.
No,
You
no.
know.
And the stuff that they kind of stress about, it's like, I need to take you back to Kansas City, and maybe you can get shot at the Blue Ridge Cutoff and see how, or or have a massive fight on a campus with a whole bunch of people. It'd be funny, man. They'd be like, I don't know, my tire busted, and I don't. I'm like,
I
well,
need I need
change
to take you down to
the
the stars on Broadway and leave the club and have a cop stop your ass for no reason just because you black in the wrong area. That's what I need you to do and deal with that. You know, you talking about you had a bad day.
yeah.
You don't even know what the hell a bad day is yet.
Oh man, they and
Plus,
they get worked up about stuff, man. They get worked up about stuff. It's like it's not that big of a deal, It's like well, and when they come to me, they call me the no feelings manager because they say I don't have any feelings because I don't give them emotional responses. So if they have a bad situation, they come and say, Carl, guess what? This is what happened. I'm like, okay, all right, and then this happened, and I'm like, all right, well,
okay.
okay. Okay.
Where is the? I'm waiting for it. What's the?
Yeah, yeah. It's like then they say, well, what do you think? And I'm like, well, it sounds like it's a couple of things you might need to do here, do this here, do that there, and you're like, oh, you're not mad? I'm like, no. Why would I be mad? It's nothing to be mad about. I mean, it's something that can be fixed. It's a problem.
Right.
I look at problems at work like puzzles, and I love puzzles. So I don't get emotionally attached to if a patient's upset
Yeah.
or if a manager's upset or teammates upset. It's just okay. How can we work through that? And those are the biggest things that they fall apart for all kind of shit. It's like
Smallest thing,
all
and
this thing.
and and that's what folks have internships and things like that,
Mhm,
but a lot of folks just come into the real world unprepared.
mhm,
They really do. It's
mhm.
because, like you said, how they were raised.
It's us. I'm not going. It's us. We some punk ass parents. It's true. It's true. It is true. It is
we,
true.
we want our kids to be so successful, but we want to shield them from issues and things that will actually, in the long run, benefit them.
Yep.
But our thing is to protect and make sure they don't go through shit.
Right.
But if they don't go through nothing,
Then yeah. I can't talk shit on the podcast. I'm guilty of the same thing. So it's like uh I'm starting to realize that now though more and try to give them more information. Like they can't say I haven't talked to them because I talk at nauseum and they be like, oh
right?
shit, here we go. Here come election, you know. But I mean, because I see it, like you see it at work. I don't want my kids to be the pain in the ass to some manager that's trying to get their job done.
Right.
There's some whole ass managers out there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
But you got good managers out there too that your kids would be like, man, fuck that job. And it's like,
Yep.
nah,
Yep.
that's not the way to be. I was like that too when I was young. I wish you could learn. I didn't get to where I feel like I can be successful at any job till I was in my late 30s.
Mm.
So, I always struggle. I always struggle. I mean, and of course, I used to do music and stuff too. So I was always in and in.
Yeah.
And ever since I stopped doing music, I turned that energy to be successful in music, and I just put it towards corporate. Put it
Yeah.
towards jobs, and put that effort and energy towards being better at jobs and being a better leader and being able. I've always been able to communicate. I've been able to bullshit my way into everything, but it's like I hadn't had success, so I didn't start to have success at the things that I was managing or the projects I was managing to my late 30s. So I got it from a mentor, that a couple of white guys. So
Very important.
very, I mean,
Mentoring and coaching
yep,
is like crucial to your success because otherwise you going through your shit yourself trying to figure it out. stumbling, bumbling, falling, busting your head. Like, damn.
Always being on the edge of getting fired. You know,
Yeah. Trying
it's
to
like,
figure it out. It's like, damn, if somebody only had told me,
yeah,
hey, dog, I did that.
yeah,
This is a lot better if you do it this way.
yeah.
But not just in business, but in real life, dealing with shit. Like, so I was listening to a podcast today,
Hmm.
and it was about relationships and things like that.
Hmm.
And this woman was talking about dating and dating a man that um, had issues.
Okay.
So she was dating him, I think dating somebody else, and something came up with the other chick, and she was like talking bad to him and just tripping, and he was like calling her, but like, hey, you know what, you were golden, you didn't trip, you didn't do this and this, whatever. But then she said, at the end of the day, he chose the other chick. He
Hmm.
chose the toxic one.
Hmm.
And she said that comes from childhood trauma.
Right.
He was like, he chooses toxic women based on how he was raised
Right.
because his mother was a negative influence. His mother talked demeaning, talked down to him.
Hmm.
So in relationships, he sought out women with the same kind of behavior,
Right.
seeking out a woman that kind of mimicked his mama, even though it wasn't positive.
Right.
He couldn't break out of it because that's all he knew. He knew that kind of woman is what he grew up with.
Yeah.
So he just was drawn that kind of woman, even though it was toxic.
Right.
So that goes back to our upbringing,
Right.
what's instilled into you.
Right.
And you grow up like, okay, mama wasn't happy with this, so this woman, I'm gonna make her like me or love me despite of the negative energy that's going on because, you know, that's what I knew,
Right.
and it's like, how do you get out of that? you
Well,
know?
I think one thing that we talked about, like with counseling and stuff, because like it's like the Matrix, right? If you don't know you're inside the Matrix, then you don't even know or understand. You know, you got to take the red or blue pill. You don't even know there's a pill there, right? You
Right.
just like the Matrix, like the movie. You just eating a steak and you love the steak, so you don't realize it. I think the same thing is and when we talk to Mike and stuff, it's like for higher enlightenment, you have to have knowledge of self, and that's one thing that I coach, preach, talk about with my family
Mm-hmm.
is knowledge of self first. And once you have knowledge of self and you understand your tendencies, you understand your proclivities, things that makes you you, then you know how to kind of proceed.
Yeah.
But if you don't know, and a lot of times, our culture does not like counselors, doesn't like,
Right.
psychology, doesn't like therapists, don't like things like that. So if and it's getting better, right? It's getting a lot better actually.
Mm-hmm.
But back in the day, it was just kind of like that you kind of dealt with it. And I think that we have Kanye said it best, people high us up with the lowest self-esteem. It's like you don't know that you're more than that or you're better than that. And so you kind of take what's given to you. And that just kind of sucks, man. It sucks. I would hate to be in a toxic cycle over and over and over again and not realize how to get out of it.
And the woman that I was listening to on the podcast said the same thing.
Oh, okay.
She
Yeah.
said she went through, a relationships of abuse,
Mhm.
and she saw as a child, so she thought that was the what was expected.
Right. Right.
And she went through those. And it wasn't until she actually like decided to take a hiatus from dating
Yep.
and just spent like a year and a half just
Yep.
on her own. And like you said, her and God
Mm-hmm.
asked him to reveal to her what it was,
Mm-hmm.
what it is,
Mm-hmm.
the real truth,
Mm-hmm.
strip back everything I think I thought I knew or
Right.
thought I,
Was. Yep. Yep. Yep.
yeah. And it wasn't until then she was like, okay, now I know me for real, for real.
Right. 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 Right.
I can know me, I can love me,
Yeah.
and now I'm a better person and I can love somebody else
Right.
in a
Yep.
better fashion.
Yep.
And, you know, true transparency for me, you know, not so much that I had bad upbringing or anything of that nature, but I've had some bad relationships where I've failed at,
Hmm.
and you tend to
Right.
repeat it, and
Um, Fear. Fear.
I've had to seek out therapy
Hmm.
to understand what is it that I'm doing,
Hmm.
I'm seeking out that's causing this, and I've 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 had to learn. I think I already knew, but I learned by myself that I had some self-esteem issues.
Right.
I really did,
Right.
and the self-esteem issues affected my confidence.
Hmm.
It affected how I reacted to situations,
Hmm.
reacted to women, and conflict.
Hmm.
All that shit played a part in how my relationships did not work
Right.
because I was battling some internal shit that I never ever even dealt with.
Right.
If you're enjoying this podcast, don't forget to subscribe and like us on YouTube and rate and follow us on your favorite podcast platform.
Right.
Because you put on this mask of like, no, I'm this, I'm that, I'm confident, but I wasn't.
Right. Right. Right.
I had my own insecurities
Hmm.
that I was dealing with,
Hmm.
and if you have your own insecurities, and another person says anything to you that triggers it
Yeah.
or makes you feel it,
Yeah.
oh, you're gonna react in such a way.
Yeah.
But
That's
it's
gonna be.
really
Yeah.
they're just saying about you what you should see about yourself,
Yeah.
but you're not. And you're like, oh man, how you don't tell me whatever I'm this, I'm that. But no, honestly, you ain't. The sooner you can deal with that and repair or heal or fix that about yourself, you'll be a better person for somebody else.
Yeah.
Like you said, you can't be good for somebody else until you're good for yourself.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing is acceptance, right? Like I said, acceptance and then the ability to be like, hey, I'm cool no matter. I mean, total transparency. I've struggled with ADD my whole life, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so it was something that held me back during school. And I, like I said, man, it's so crazy because it's like this stuff happened at work. It happened at work, right?
Yeah.
So my road to not really giving a damn about that and being able to and say, put on my I'm fierce happened through coaching and mentorship at work. And that, to me, it's a lot of things that, like I said, young people, we go back to young people that we don't understand, and that hopefully, eventually you can kind of mature and learn that limitations that you have are only limitations that you create. So um you can overcome any type of limitation that you might have. And you have to, like you said, but you're right though, you have to be whole, right? You have to be
Mm-hmm.
whole first, whether it be relationship, whether it be work, or just how you feel about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
um but you can overcome anything when you really put your mind to it, and relentlessly positive. That's one thing that we learned and talked about, in spite of. And so I think self growth, uh, elevation. Um, I would hope that everyone would get a chance to do that, because and then of course, like I said, we try to give that information to young people and family members, loved ones, maybe some not so young, but life is a blessing, and if you always kind of look at it like that, then you can kind of see your way out of any situation, and I'm not talking about, you know, like chemical depression or things like that that you might need help with. I'm just talking about just the frailty of the normal mind, and
Right.
and it's something that we can always be better and always do better, but you have to know how and have the tools how, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's the biggest thing is just understanding. Like I said, I think like going back, knowledge of self is so important.
Yeah.
And with you, when you're fact finding in your own self,
Hmm.
um, how once you how did you come to acceptance? Is it just because you went to a therapist, or what do you think?
That's part of it. Um, and it's funny because I've always felt that way about myself, but I
Uh,
masked it.
okay.
I was able to hide it and mask it and whatever. But talking about it, actually verbalizing this with someone through
Mhm.
counseling, puts it right here.
Okay.
And it's like, yeah, damn, yeah, that's me. That's what I've been doing, and then damn,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I've been doing to other people.
Okay.
You know, so it's like makes you think back on situations and interactions, and it's like, why did I behave a certain way? Okay, because I wasn't good with me.
Right.
So, I have to deal with me, accept myself first of all. Like,
Right.
nothing wrong with me. Stop,
Right.
stop. What is it that's causing you to be insecure?
Yep.
What are you looking at that's making you feel that you less than? You
Right.
know,
Right.
um, and I don't know. It may be some shit that had to dig deep and look way back. Like, I didn't do this or I didn't have this or whatever. I feel like I lacked therefore. So I was always trying to be better than I was. But it's like you said, not just
Mm-hmm.
self acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
First of all,
Mm-hmm.
stop comparing yourself to something else.
Right.
You know,
Right.
be happy with you.
Right. That's
And
hard. A lot of people struggle.
oh,
A lot of people struggle with that.
and it's very hard nowadays because
Social
social
media.
media
Yeah.
will just kill you.
Yeah.
It will destroy your self esteem if you're not strong
Yeah.
because the fake images, and they are fake images
Right.
on social media,
Mm-hmm.
would make you think everybody in the world is
Happy,
thriving,
beautiful.
balling out of control, living their best lives, and you're like, damn, the fuck am
I'm
I
such a
doing?
loser.
What
I'm such a loser.
I'm living in this damn hovel, sitting here while y'all out there doing it big. Then what's wrong with me? But
Yeah.
that's not your life. That's not even their life. It's
No.
it's a facade,
Yeah.
and it ruins a lot of. That's why we have so many teen suicides
Yeah. I mean,
because people self images they can't take it,
right.
you know. And you
Right.
take in that shit, you're like, damn, I want to live that life, but I
Yeah.
can't. I'm not good enough. I'm not doing this. I'm not making enough. I'm not, I'm not an entrepreneur.
Right.
I'm not my own boss. I
Yeah.
can't. That ain't for you though. That's not
Yeah.
even for them.
Not built like that.
You ain't built like
You
that.
ain't built like that. And that's
Accept how you
okay.
built. Love you, and then pass it on.
Yeah.
And even to the point, I know I keep talking about this podcast I listen to, but it was some gems in that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And she also said, we all are so consumed with legacy, and we think about financial legacy, and this like what we don't talk about is love legacy. How do we leave a love legacy? How do we show our children how to love?
Mm-hmm.
Are we showing them
Mm-hmm.
with our own lives?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're one, say you're single and you're like, I'm good being single. I don't need, to be with nobody. I'm blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
What are you showing?
Right. Right.
You're not open to love. You don't need love.
Right.
So therefore, you pass it on.
Right.
If your child never sees you happy in love
Yeah.
or happy in whatever, what are they going off of?
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know,
And you're recreating the cycle. It is.
yeah, you are. So you need to
Yeah.
focus. You need to focus on, yeah, I'm gonna get financially fit. I'm gonna get, this fit. This also get love.
Yeah.
Get your love right. Get that right, so you can show your next generation it's okay.
Yeah.
Love is good,
Yeah.
really, and embrace that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's gonna hurt. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
gonna suck. Sometimes it's gonna be hard as hell.
Yeah.
But so is everything else too.
Yeah.
A lot's just hard.
Welcome to life.
Man, I, I remember growing up, and I hated them for saying this shit.
Mhm.
My parents would say, "Life ain't fair. Deal with it." you would want something, or you want to do something, or you're like, man, that ain't fair.
Yeah.
Life ain't fair.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Yeah.
I'd be like, make me sick. Man, I hate y'all.
Kid,
But
you think about it, it's true. Kids struggle with that too. They really have a problem with fair and unfair,
yeah, give
and
me the
they
fair one. give me a fair one. That's your boy. Just give me a
bruh,
fair one.
it's not fair.
What's a fair one, dog? What is it?
I don't know what a fair one is.
I don't, I
I
don't
don't
know
know
what a
what
fair one is, dog.
it's not out there, man. They struggle they struggle with that because I see my and one thing um kids they're real they tend to be real liberal and
Mm.
the older you get you kind of get more conservative, right? I feel like you have a larger knowledge base to pull from, so that's why because you become a little bit more conservative the older you get.
Yeah.
But the fair and not fair is a thing that a lot of people, young people, get caught up on, and they don't understand it. Hey, it's situations, where the good guy doesn't win at the end. It's situations where you got to hustle your way out of stuff. It's situations where you bust your ass for something, you still don't get the promotion because you
And a
ain't that.
loss is a loss. It's
You
a
just ain't that.
L.
You know what I'm saying?
Take
So,
that L. Take that. Take that.
so well, and then I think Hishimu talked about this a little bit, but that's why I love sports, man, because sports to me for young people, if you have, especially if you have young men or young boys out there, PSA, 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 PSA. Put your young men in sports because they get to learn a lot of life lessons about teamwork. That's why I love coaching basketball. Teamwork, about loss, about being on the bench,
Mm-hmm.
uh, all of these things. And then of course, like what I coach both my boys, and they didn't start all the time on my teams, on
Mm-hmm.
my city league teams, and
Mm-hmm.
mom will be mad about it, and I'll be like, hey, they ain't playing well, so we got to go with the hot hand or whatever. But I think that those are the kind of things that young men need to deal with. Um, and we aren't necessarily wealthy where we can send them to camps and stuff like that for them to be, I don't know, taught on leadership and stuff like that. But basketball or football or well, maybe not football, but basketball or soccer or whatever, baseball, whatever sports you can get into that's not too dangerous. Um, they can learn a lot of the things just in life, that translate to work. They don't have to go to the military to learn that kind of stuff. Although going to the military is cool, and you learn a lot of those things,
Discipline. Yeah. Yeah. All that
discipline,
kind of stuff.
all
Yeah.
those kind of things, learn those things in the military. But you can do it through sports. You know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily have to go to cross the water to go do something to somebody. You
Right.
can learn it in sports, and so
Yeah.
um, it's little microcosms of situational things that happen in life that you can see how they react at a young age,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's It's very true. Very true. So, usually at this time, I'll let Reno give in one of his positive rants, but since he's not here, we don't have his rants, so I'll try to fill in the gap. I'm just gonna say, young people, listen.
Yeah.
First of all, accept yourself.
Yeah.
Know who you are.
Yeah.
Love yourself so you can love someone else.
Yeah.
Also, don't run from adversity.
Run.
Don't run from challenges.
Yeah.
They will add to your character. They will make you stronger. They're meant to build you up. You have to face a challenge so you can get better at something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you won't actually progress or move forward. So
Bro.
embrace those challenges. Um, you know, accept failure sometimes. Learn from it. Let us turn that L to a lesson.
Yeah.
Fail forward
Go forward. Yeah.
and try to learn and get better from it. You know, life ain't fair.
Yeah. Deal with it.
Also, life is hard. It really is. So just don't let it beat you,
Yeah.
and just know that you can get through it.
You can.
Yeah, you can get through it. Just power through. You know, whatever you have to lean on,
Yeah.
prayer, meditation, you know, whatever it is. Just don't give in, don't give up. You can do it.
Yeah. You can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's all I have for you, big man.
Hey man, it's been a pleasure, man. I don't have any crazy rants though. I mean, I just did. I'm not crazy like Reno. We, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But
we kind of missed that tonight, but it was still a good conversation.
I hate AT&T.
F all y'all.
Do my best Reno impression, Frank impression.
Frank the Tank, aka the best there is, best there was, the best there ever will be. We love you, Big Frank.
Yeah, we love you, Big
Go
Reno,
enjoy that
man.
show, man. We'll see you on the next round. But on that note, Big Hen,
Hey,
Big J, hey, Kings can move on, y'all.
you can move on.
Yeah. If you enjoyed that episode, don't forget to subscribe and like us on our YouTube channel and rate and follow us on your favorite podcast platform.